This is News 8 Now this morning.
So there were about 100 milliliters of blood just free within his abdominal cavity. There was also a lot of hemorrhage and bleeding around the head of the pancreas.
The best way to do it, as you can see the equipment in the background, is to safely get everybody out of here and make sure that, you know, the guys can get to work without having to worry about hurting somebody.
For us, it's just part of our summer. We love to paddle, and we want to get out there and be strong and support each other and enjoy all the natural resources and the natural beauty of our area.
Good morning, everyone. That was your morning eye opener. I'm Sophia Pullman.
I'm Derek Sibley.
It is June 1st. We flew through May.
Yeah, we sure did.
I hope we don't fly through June. I really want to enjoy the warm weather while we have it.
Yeah, I feel like we just keep flying into time, don't we?
Next thing you know, it's going to be fall.
I know. First day of summer, though. Well, first meteorological day of summer, I should say. The astronomical day of summer, when we're all kind of used to, is June 21st.
Later.
So it's coming. It's right around the corner. It kind of feels like summer lately. It's been warm. We've been seeing some showers in some locations out there. So we're starting to see, you know, evidence and signs of like, hey, summer's knocking right on our front doors already. And, you know, we got a few more days of seeing some of those temperatures in the upper 80s, low 90s with some rain chances. So here's a quick look at the satellite and radar. Pretty quiet right now. We were watching a few light showers in the Chippewa Valley area overnight, but they have since diminished. Here's a look at the temperatures. We're into the 60s, 63 in Winona, 67 La Crosse. We're in the 50s in areas like Sparta, Black River Falls, typical cool spots there, 68 in Eau Claire, 62 Prairie du Chien, and Viroqua at 64. Good morning to you. Here's a look at the planner here. We are going to be looking at partly cloudy skies here coming up in the next couple of hours, and that will last throughout much of the morning, and then turning mostly cloudy by the afternoon with temperatures really warm into the mid to upper 80s. By 3 p.m. we could be as warm as 90 degrees with a slight chance of a shower this afternoon. The grass is on the high side here for the pollen index, and the pine and tree is medium there for those allergen index values as well. Same forecast is in store for the day tomorrow, so watch out for that grass out there. Now stay tuned. I'm going to have a check on your Schoolcast plus your full weather forecast in just a few minutes. Sophia?
Thanks, Derek. Let's get to some news this morning. The woman accused of killing a 6-year-old boy in the town of Medarie appeared in court. 31-year-old Josie Dykeman is facing an intentional homicide charge along with charges relating to child neglect and abuse. A medical examiner testified during the preliminary hearing, explaining that the cause of Alex Xavier Pedron's death was blunt force trauma and that the child was covered in roughly a dozen bruises.
So there were about 100 milliliters of blood just free within his abdominal cavity. There was also a lot of hemorrhage and bleeding around the head of the pancreas.
Dykeman's attorney argued that her bond should be waived because there was no direct witnesses to testify that Dykeman caused harm to Pedron. District Attorney Tim Granke argued other children in the house were witnesses. Judge Elliot Levine determined there is enough evidence to keep Dykeman's $1 million cash bond. The preliminary hearing will be continued on June 9th. A Chippewa Falls man is behind bars accused of attempted homicide. 27-year-old Abram Sanchez Galicia is charged with attempted first-degree intentional homicide and first-degree reckless injury. Through an interpreter, Sanchez Galicia says he argued with a friend over a tortilla and the victim tried to attack him first with a beer bottle. The judge initially set a $50,000 cash bond. Sanchez Galicia is in court today for a bond hearing. Cameron and Burns parks in the city of La Crosse are temporarily closed. People living unsheltered had been staying in the parks, living in tents. News 8 Now's Emily Haugen spoke to someone who has to find somewhere to live.
There's a closet over there because this is all we have. That's my daughter's and that's mine.
Wednesday morning, April Martin was living in Burns Park.
They don't really care about the homeless. They're being moved and shuffled all over.
Hours later, April is moving again.
I don't think people realize how hard it is. You have to lug your stuff around.
For the next few days, April and other unsheltered people living in the park have to move.
Well, I either have to go here or under the bridge.
The more populated Cameron Park is also closing.
A lot of our parks aren't really built for this everyday large population use.
La Crosse's Parks Director Jay Odegaard says it's so the department can do maintenance, cleaning, tree inspections, and park repairs.
The best way to do it, as you can see the equipment in the background, is to safely get everybody out of here and make sure that, you know, the guys can get to work without having to worry about hurting somebody.
La Crosse resident Kevin Hunt says these closures are unfair.
The counted homeless is over 200 people. We have waiting lists at all the shelters. They're gonna go somewhere, okay? And they're not gonna go into housing because the city's not providing it.
Odegaard says this isn't permanent, and it's an important part of their routine.
One of the things that we are going to try to do is, again, be cognizant of the amount of tents and stuff that start coming into the park, but again, it's a public park, and it's where people are meant to go and enjoy themselves.
In the meantime, the unsheltered will keep moving.
The city plans to have Cameron Park open in time for Friday's farmers market. Wisconsin governor was out in Onalaska, taking time out of the capital to help road workers fill potholes. Governor Evers picked up a shovel with Onalaska Public Works employees. A big focus of the governor's visit was safety. Department of Transportation officials say over the past 5 construction seasons, there were 6 incidents a day where a worker was injured on state roads.
Speeding, tailgating, distracted driving are all dangerous driving behaviors, but especially so in work zones.
Those of us working behind the barrels rely on motorists to drive safely. Glancing at a text or social media alert while driving is not worth it.
The governor also took some time to highlight the need for funding infrastructure and transportation. When asked about shared revenue talks, the governor said those discussions are still ongoing.
We're still not there yet, and a lot of discussion between the two houses, which I think is a healthy thing. I believe strongly that Republicans and Democrats understand how important shared revenue is, and that impacts local people working on filling potholes too.
The governor says the Assembly and Senate need to agree on a measure that would allow the city of Milwaukee to raise its sales tax. The newest list of endangered historic properties in La Crosse includes Lincoln Middle School and Hogan Administrative Center. The City of La Crosse's Heritage Preservation Commission announced the updated list outside Lincoln Middle, which will close at the end of this school year. The commission says a building being endangered does not mean it's guaranteed to be torn down. The group instead uses the list to raise awareness about buildings facing potential demolition or redevelopment.
We want the community to be aware of their current state and help us by taking action to help save these buildings. So the community can step up and say, hey, buildings like Lincoln and Hogan matter a whole lot to us, and here's what we want to see done with the building.
The commission wants the community to know demolition isn't the only course of action for these buildings. A vote to historically preserve Lincoln Middle School is expected in June. The Winona Area Public Schools Board voted unanimously to name Brad Brzezinski as its next superintendent. Brzezinski attended Winona schools and graduated from Winona Senior High School. He previously worked as an athletic director, principal, and teacher in the district. He's currently the principal of St. Charles High School. The contract is expected to be approved at the next school board meeting on June 8th. Local breast cancer survivors are finding unity and strength together on a dragon boat. The La Crosse, Mississippi Sisters competed this spring out in New Zealand for an International Breast Cancer Paddlers Festival, winning one of their heats against groups from Canada and Australia. The team includes more than 20 breast cancer survivors from the La Crosse and Madison area. The team is planning on rowing in festivals all throughout the state, but Captain Terry Paday says the rowing season is more than the festivals.
For us, it's just part of our summer. We love to paddle, and we want to get out there and be strong and support each other and enjoy all the natural resources and the natural beauty of our area.
Paday says they want to expand paddling here in the La Crosse area. Today, youth agencies in La Crosse are hosting a summer kickoff party. The gathering is happening at Powell Park from 4 to 6. The youth-serving organizations coming to the party include the Boys and Girls Clubs, The Good Fight, Hope Restores, Big Brothers Big Sisters, and more than a dozen others. They'll have lawn games, flag football, arts and crafts, and food. Today is the official Moon Tunes kickoff for its 2023 lineup at 5:30 p.m. at La Crosse's Riverside Park. The first of the free concert series will feature Tom Wopat and the Midwestern All-Star Band. The Wisconsin native and Dukes of Hazzard actor says the performance tonight will feature a nice mix of genre. Moon Tunes will continue every Thursday night throughout the summer. And starting this morning, you can take part in the city's Downtown Walk Around Challenge. Throughout June, participants can walk to participating downtown businesses who will stamp an official challenge card. When you get all your stamps, email a picture of your finished card to that email or drop off the physical card in the downtown Mail Street mailbox by July 5th. Winners will get notified on July 7th. To get your stamp card, go to lacrossedowntown.com. We'll link it on news8000.com. Still ahead on your morning news, employees at the Amazon corporate office stage a walkout to voice their concerns. And Master Lock is planning to leave the city where it was founded despite protests from its workers. That and more coming up this morning. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. No matter which team wins the NBA Finals, you could score free food. Chipotle is giving away burritos for every three-pointer a player makes in the finals. They call it a free pointer. When a player makes a three-point shot, Chipotle will tweet out a code. The first 300 people who text that code to 888-222 will get a free entree. The restaurant says it will give away up to 10,000 burritos per game. Don't go anywhere. Your consumer news at News 8 Now this morning after the break.
Sarah's overall pretty quiet start across the Coulee region. We were, however, watching a few light rain showers around the Chippewa Valley area just off to the north. But other than that, conditions this morning are looking nice and quiet. Dog walking conditions as well. Mostly sunny for the morning. Partly cloudy skies for your afternoon and then turning mostly cloudy as we get closer towards the evening hours. Current temperature readings across the area right now into the 60s, 67 in La Crosse, 68, however, to the north in Eau Claire. And as far as your zone forecast today, it's going to be yet another warm and steamy afternoon. High temperatures into the upper 80s and low 90s in La Crosse County with a high of 90 today in Onalaska and La Crosse. Meanwhile, further south, 87 in Lansing today with a high of 88 today in Soldiers Grove, and up towards the central areas today, temperatures just shy of reaching that 90-degree mark in Trempealeau with highs around 88 today if you're in the Eau Claire area. Now for your bus stop forecast overall, 69 degrees, mostly sunny, and on the way back home today this afternoon, temperatures warming up to 90 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Stay tuned. I'm going to have a check on your full weather forecast in just a few minutes. We'll talk about some possible rain chances that we could be dealing with here sometime this week.
In your consumer news this morning, hundreds of workers walked out of Amazon headquarters Wednesday. They're angry at the company's return to office policy, which requires most employees to report to a physical location at least 3 days per week. Organizers say more than 1,000 corporate employees participated in the event. An Amazon spokesperson says the company has been happy with how the first month of the return to office mandate has gone. Engaged couples have to pay more to get married in 2023, according to online wedding planning site Zola. The national average cost of a wedding this year is $29,000. The report based its averages on a survey of 4,000 engaged couples planning to tie the knot this year. When asked who was paying for the wedding, 33% of couples said they are contributing to their wedding budgets in some way. Another 16% said they are paying the entire expense on their own. After being founded in Milwaukee more than 100 years ago, Master Lock will soon shut its doors, moving hundreds of jobs out of the city. Members of UAW Local 469 walked the picket line for several hours before gathering to make their voices heard, but it still may not make a difference.
If Master Lock move, it's almost like death in the family to me, you know, and probably to my coworkers too.
Which is why Master Lock employees are calling on the company to reconsider plans to shutter the Milwaukee plant.
We're extremely disappointed that somebody from somewhere else can make a decision and just make it go away.
350 employees will continue through October. Then the plant will ramp down. They'll lose their jobs when it closes for good in March of 2024.
It can't do any good for the city. People are going to be struggling to find a job that pays 2/3 of that.
Lorraine Baker worries about what she'll do next.
I'm 60 years old. I can't go out here and compete with the 20 years old trying to find a new job, a new location.
Baker said she's too young to retire but too old to start over somewhere else. She described her co-workers as strong, beautiful, intelligent people.
They come here every day to give all they can to Master Lock.
Which is why many describe the closing as a slap in the face.
They don't care about the people, they just care about the money.
Incoming union president Yolanda Nathan said the plant is profitable.
We're hurt, devastated, confused. We don't understand what's going on and why the decision to close the plant happened.
After employees walked the line Wednesday, several local leaders voiced their support.
You guys have kept Master Lock alive in this community. Generations of people in this very community made Master Lock what it is today.
It is spitting in the face of a community.
You're stronger together, and success will only come with hard work.
A Master Lock spokesperson said the company appreciates the impact closing will have on employees and the community. A statement read in part, "Our commitment is to work hard to minimize that impact." Local 469 President Mike Banks said the union is trying to schedule a meeting with Master Lock for tomorrow. That's it for your morning consumer news. Let's check in with Derek in today's forecast.
All right, thanks so much for that, Sophia. We're just looking at a few passing clouds here this morning from City Cam 8 in downtown La Crosse. Overall, a pretty quiet start here for us to deal with this morning. Temperatures at 67 degrees in La Crosse, a degree warmer here, but that's about it. Downtown at 68 degrees. Southeast winds light at 5 miles an hour. Meanwhile, to the north in Eau Claire, very similar to that as well, 68 degrees with sunny skies and easterly winds light at 5 miles an hour. Current temperatures across the area mainly into the 60s. A couple of locations, Black River Falls and Sparta, both into the mid to upper 50s. Typical cool spots out there with forecast highs today expected to rise into those upper 80s. Some spots even rising into the low 90s, such as areas like La Crosse today and Basketball, where you both could hit around 90 degrees this afternoon. 69 degrees here at 7 o'clock, 85 and partly cloudy by noon today, and then turning mostly cloudy, 86 degrees by 4 p.m. As we head into the early evening around 8 o'clock, 81 degrees with some scattered showers here possible. And speaking of scattered showers, we got scattered showers and a few storms across portions of the central and midwestern United States, but a little bit closer to home, you can see things are looking pretty quiet. We were watching a few light showers up towards the Chippewa Valley here overnight, but they have since diminished. We're dealing with more of a southeasterly wind motion now with just a few passing clouds. That activity will continue here through at least 9 o'clock this morning, and then maybe watching a couple of light scattered showers that could pop up here later this afternoon, probably around the 3 p.m. hour or so, before diminishing as we head into the 9 o'clock hour here tonight. And then we're just left over with a few passing clouds with a couple of light spotty showers possible up towards the Chippewa Valley overnight tonight, and then just looking at mostly cloudy skies with some light showers around the Eau Claire and the Chippewa Valley area by tomorrow morning. And then as we head to the 5 o'clock hour tomorrow, we got scattered showers and thunderstorms that look very likely to pop up around here. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Some of them could produce some locally heavy downpours before they diminish as we head towards the 11 p.m. hour tomorrow night. And then it looks like we're going to keep those rain chances in the forecast through the rest of the day Friday, but looking at some drier conditions for this weekend with highs into the mid to upper 80s under partly cloudy skies. Watching for a slight chance of showers and storms by early next week on Monday. And then we're much cooler as we head into the rest of next week thanks to a front moving in on Monday night, and that should help cool us down into the low to mid 80s Tuesday through Thursday with just a mix of sun and clouds. So we'll have those low temperatures as well, dropping from the 60s down to the 50s behind that front as we head into next week. Stay tuned. We're back with much more news and weather still to come on News 8 Now this morning. We're taking a quick break with a look at what happened on this day in history for June 1st. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Blitz. In just over 24 hours from now, all eyes will be on the state track meet at UWL. There's a ton of playoff action going on in all our high school spring sports. And we'll start on the diamond with two of our area teams going head-to-head with a spot in the sectionals on the line. Division III regional final. Bangor hosting Viroqua, bottom 3. Cardinals get going. This base hit scores 1. It's 1-0 Bangor. Let's go bottom 6 now. Cardinals looking for some insurance. They're going to get it. This ball finds the gap in right center. Cardinals cooking in the 6th. Then it's Chase Horseman coming up clutch. He lines a base hit in a left center. Here comes that cushion. RBI single from Horseman makes it 2-0 Cardinals. Top 7 now. Blackhawks not going down without a fight. Cooper Gelhaus with the hard 90. That's going to be an infield single. Then later in the inning, it's Kevin Landowski going the other way. That's a fair ball. Blackhawks get the tying runs on base in the 7th. Viroqua would cut the deficit in half on a fielder's choice with a tying run 90 feet away. Horseman gets the pop-up to third, and the Cardinals survive a thriller. They're moving on to sectionals as they hang on for the win, 2-1. So Bangor will meet the winner of this matchup. Top seed Aquinas hosting Whitehall. This one a pitcher's duel early on in the 1st. North's with 2 on, but Tanner Peterson gets the ground ball. Blue Gold's out of a jam. Bottom 1 now. 2 on for Eddie Peters. He gives this one a ride deep to left field, but not deep enough. It stays in the park. Whitehall gets out of trouble in the 1st. Let's go to the 2nd. Peterson still dealing. He'll take the comebacker here himself. Toss it over to first. A 1-2-3 inning for the Blue Golds, but Whitehall's Braden Lazowski matching zeros early on in the 2nd. Lazowski strikes out the side in order. Impressive start from both pitchers. Blue Golds would strike first in the 4th. Aquinas tacks on 2 more in the 6th. And the Blue Golds are moving on. They get the win, 3-0 the final. And now the next round is set. Aquinas and Bangor will square off in Viroqua on Tuesday morning in the sectionals. How about the West Salem baseball team? Division II regional. Panthers getting a dominant 9-1 win over Medford on the road. Brett McConkey, another gem on the hill for West Salem. 6 innings, 7 Ks on the night. Panthers are moving on to the sectionals. They'll play Mosinee on Tuesday. That game will be played in Altoona. Brewers in Toronto taking on the Blue Jays. Milwaukee needs some offense, and they get it from Abraham Toro. His first hit as a Brewer is a big one. A 2-run shot makes it 2-0 Crew. In the 5th now, same score. Kevin Kiermaier is going to flare one out to right. Brian Anderson takes a bad route. This is going to be trouble. Blue Jays cut the deficit in half on Kiermaier's RBI triple. But the Brewers answer back in the 7th. 2 in scoring position for Owen Miller. That shot's going to be good to get both runs in. Base hit in the left. Joey Weimer, Christian Yelich both come in to score. Brewers get back in the win column. They hang on for the win, 4-2. That's going to do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
Breaking overnight, the House has approved the debt agreement to suspend the nation's borrowing limit after hours of floor debate. President Biden called it, quote, good news for the American people and the American economy. Now the clock is ticking as the Senate takes up the measure.
The bill is passed.
With a big bipartisan vote, the House passed the bill to suspend the nation's debt limit through January 2025.
Tonight, we all made history, because this is the biggest cut in savings this Congress has ever voted for.
The bill, which was the result of a deal between the White House and House Republicans, also caps some federal spending, claws back money from the IRS, tightens eligibility for food stamps programs, and loosens some environmental rules.
We had an obligation, a responsibility to avoid a catastrophic default.
In the end, more Democrats supported the bill than Republicans, angering some conservatives who opposed it.
Now Democrats have joined with McCarthy to pass bills. So there is a big reassessment of the coalition for power in the House.
A White House official tells CBS News the president watched the House vote with staff while in Colorado Springs. In a statement, he thanked House leaders and urged the Senate to also pass it.
I hope we can move the bill quickly here in the Senate and bring it to the president's desk as soon as possible.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has warned members of his chamber to prepare for potential votes over the weekend. The U.S. Treasury says the bill must get to the president's desk by Monday, June 5th to avoid default.
Some conservative Republicans who opposed the debt ceiling bill in the House are now questioning Speaker McCarthy's leadership and threatening to bring up a motion to remove him. McCarthy appeared to shrug off those threats, saying, quote, it's up to them, during a news conference last night. Meanwhile, the bill is currently facing opposition from some Senate Republicans and at least one Democrat. As Minnesota joins the growing list of states where recreational marijuana is legal, businesses are already embracing the new law. Marijuana must be homegrown in Minnesota to be considered legal, something that can't be done until growers obtain a license. Around this time last year, the hemp industry was a startup in Minnesota. Many businesses believe that with a lot of manufacturing infrastructure in place from the hemp business, they can find a way for everyone to thrive from the new law.
Growing the actual crop is the same. If you want to grow outdoors, you plant it in late May, early June. Just like, other crops that are harvested throughout the year, they'll be harvested in late September or October.
Minnesota is also setting up an Office of Cannabis Management to oversee the regulation and sale of cannabis products in the state. The Get Summer program is back for the first time in 3 summers, giving high schoolers free access to all YMCA locations the entire summer. Starting Monday through the end of August, the YMCA will offer free memberships to teenagers and young adults. One of the perks is free training on how to use all the equipment in the gym. YMCA Executive Director Katie Lowe says they're eliminating this cost boundary for teens because they want to keep them moving.
Not only for their physical health, but their mental health, their social health. They can come with their friends.
YMCA staff also take suggestions from the teens on how they want to spend their time at the Y. Summer registration opens on June 5th online and in person. For more information, you can go to ymcanorth.org/getsummer. More than 80 years after World War II, an elderly Iowa woman is finally learning about her dad, who died while fighting overseas when she was just a baby.
This is my father, right here. He loved to fly. That's his Purple Heart.
Judy Tosh's father, Virgil Pryor, served in World War II from 1941 until he was declared missing in action in 1944.
We're on a bombing run to France.
Judy was just 6 weeks old when he died. More than 50 years later, after her mom died in 1999, she found a sack full of letters.
I was just so astounded by the volume.
400 letters, to be exact. They were letters her dad had written to Judy's mother during his time in the service.
He always started out, "My darling wife."
With each pen stroke, Judy says it was a way to get to know her father, even though they never met.
That's how I knew my dad. Was reading his thoughts over time. I read them all.
Judy says out of all 400, there's one letter she loves the most.
The one that he got that he knew I was born. He was very excited. He named me. He was counting on a girl. They didn't even have a boy's name. He said, I ran around the barracks screaming that it's a girl. So yeah, that might be one of my favorite ones. I should be home to sort of supervise things. But I suppose, yes, you will get along okay.
His words closing the gap between decades, proof of his devotion to his young wife and baby daughter.
But it was really something, I think, that she kept all that. I mean, he wrote, you look at this, he wrote so much.
Judy says along with the 400 letters from her dad, they also found around 200 letters that her mom had written to him during that time as well. The La Crosse County DA's office and Wisconsin Department of Justice are looking to point crime victims in the right direction. Marcy's Law for Wisconsin met with the DA's office and the DOJ for a mapping exercise. This exercise analyzes what victims go through in order to help them better understand their rights. The director of Marcy's Law for Wisconsin says that bridging the gap between victims and leaders is important.
There are many stakeholders who are involved in serving victims of crime, and so getting together everyone in the same room is tremendous because we can learn about everybody's insights, everybody's roles throughout the process.
Leaders also said getting local stakeholders in the same room is great to learn insight from each person that plays a role in serving victims of crime. Senator Tammy Baldwin is pushing a bipartisan bill that would boost mental health resources for farmers. Baldwin, along with Republican Senator Joni Ernst from Iowa, are introducing the Farmers First Act of 2023. It would reauthorize the Farm and Ranch Stress Assistance Network. The program expands hotlines, creates support groups, and trains people in rural areas to recognize signs of depression and anxiety in farmers.
Farmers facing bankruptcy or losing the farm entirely are under a lot of stress, and we need the supports out there so that nobody has to endure these difficult times alone.
Funding will go through both the Stress Assistance Network and the Wisconsin State Agriculture Department. Senator Baldwin hopes this bill will be passed through the next farm bill, which would keep the program in place for at least 5 years. Wisconsin lawmakers are discussing legislation that would tighten rules on sexual assault within the state's National Guard. A legislative committee drafted 3 bills, including proposals that would clarify that civilian authorities have jurisdiction over sexual offenses in the military. It would also prohibit officers from having sexual relations with junior soldiers and prohibit retaliation. Here is Derek to tell us what to expect in our morning commute.
All right, thanks for that, Sophia. Things are looking pretty quiet here so far for your morning commute. Just looking at a couple of light showers that continue to diminish as they move north around the Chippewa Valley, but the rest of us looking pretty dry and quiet with temperature readings into the 60s, 67 in La Crosse now, 68 in Eau Claire, 57 in Sparta. Temperatures in Winona currently at 64 degrees. Forecast overall today, 90 degrees, partly to mostly cloudy. A couple of isolated thunderstorms possible late this afternoon into the early evening. South-southeast winds at 10 to 15 miles an hour. And for tonight, we dropped to 66 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, slight chance of a straight late night thunderstorm or so, east-southeast winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour. As far as your mowing forecast goes, 72 degrees here for the morning, much more comfortable with that by that point, because as we head into the afternoon, our temperatures will rise into the mid-80s under partly to mostly cloudy skies. A slight chance of a shower or storm is also possible near that 5 p.m. hour or later. I'll keep you updated on that, plus your full weather forecast coming up in a few minutes after the break. Also coming up in our Buzz Report, the Street Fighter franchise is releasing a new game this week on Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Just a mix of sun and clouds here this morning from CityCam 8 in downtown La Crosse. As you can see there behind me, we're off to a picture-perfect start here this morning with temperatures in La Crosse at 67 degrees. We are looking at visibility levels at 10 miles and a southeast wind at 5 miles an hour. Meanwhile, the current conditions in Eau Claire, 68 degrees with sunshine, light easterly winds at 5 miles an hour. Current temperatures across the rest of the area this morning, mainly into the 60s in many spots, except for Sparta. You're currently the cool spot there at 58 as you head out the door. 62 in Boscobel, and Prairie du Chien is currently at 64. Look at these forecast highs today. Very warm once again. In fact, hot in La Crosse today because you'll be at 90 degrees while the rest of us mainly into the upper 80s. And 90 degrees here can be said even as far south as Boscobel here this afternoon. As far as your planner goes today, we'll be at mostly sunny with 69 degrees, just shy of 70 by 7. By noon, 85 and partly cloudy. We could, however, turn mostly cloudy with temperatures at 86 degrees at 4, followed by some scattered showers that could become a possibility with temperatures warm at 81 degrees by early on this evening. We'll get to your sky tracker here coming up in just a bit. But I do want to go ahead and show you the bigger view because we got some scattered showers and storms across portions of the central United States as well as the Midwestern United States as well. Not here though in the Coulee region. However, we were watching a couple of light showers around the Chippewa Valley overnight. They have since diminished, and now we're just left over with that southeast wind motion along with a few passing morning clouds. And that's going to continue here through at least the 9 o'clock hour here. As we head into this afternoon around 3 p.m., could see some pop-up showers and thunderstorms across portions of the area, and they should diminish as we head to around 9 p.m. tonight. Now, as we head into overnight, a couple of light scattered showers could develop across portions of the Eau Claire area and near the Chippewa Valley in general, and then it looks like they should continue here through at least 9 o'clock here tomorrow morning. As we take you into tomorrow afternoon, especially late tomorrow afternoon to the early evening, we could be watching some scattered showers and thunderstorms thunderstorms popping up across the majority of the Coulee region, and some of these showers and storms could produce some locally heavy downpours as they develop and spread across portions of the area before diminishing as we head into tomorrow night. All right, here's a check on your 8-day forecast, and we're going to keep those chances of rain and storms in the forecast for the day tomorrow, as mentioned. But this weekend, we're turning much drier, partly cloudy. Highs still pretty warm into those mid to upper 80s, though. We'll continue that trend of upper 80s into Monday of next week with a chance of scattered showers and storms. And then our cold front is expected to pass through Monday night. That's going to cool down our highs into the low to mid 80s Tuesday through Thursday. Low temperatures in the 50s and 60s.
In our Morning Buzz report, one of the most popular fighting game franchises has a new version releasing this week. The Street Fighter franchise began with an arcade game in 1987. Its latest evolution for home gaming consoles is Street Fighter 6. There is a single-player mode where you can create your own character and play as a Street Fighter in this RPG-like adventure. Street Fighter 6 is out tomorrow for Xbox and PlayStation consoles and through the Steam game service.
A strike team assassinated President Udo. And yet, you cannot prove that we weren't involved. Doesn't that concern you?
No, sir. It terrifies me.
The official trailer for the final season of Jack Ryan has been released. New CIA Acting Deputy Director Jack Ryan is tasked with uncovering internal corruption. As the team investigates, he discovers the convergence of a drug cartel with a terrorist organization. The final season of Jack Ryan arrives June 30th on Prime Video.
The first American ever to pull on a winner's yellow jersey.
We were scheduled to go back to Europe. The phone rang and they said my husband had been shot.
Here's a look at the last writer about the incredible success, setbacks, and comeback of Tour de France winner Greg LeMond. The documentary on the man, widely considered one of the greatest cyclists of all time, pedals into theaters June 23rd. Global superstars Enrique Iglesias, Ricky Martin, and Pitbull are joining forces. They will share the stage for the Trilogy Tour. The 19-city tour kicks off October 14th in Washington, D.C. Fans can register for pre-sale tickets through June 4th. Those pre-sales start June 7th. General tickets go on sale June 9th. The Jack Ryan video or TV show about the CIA agent, I really want to watch that.
Okay.
It's the second season. I haven't seen the first one.
That
so
seems a little exciting.
Are you not into like CIA stuff?
Well, I mean, okay, I've watched that type of stuff before, but I'm not going to like binge watch probably like you.
Oh, I think I'm going to go watch the first season just because the second one came out.
So you're going to binge watch.
Yeah, you're not. Before we head to break, it's time to look at today's Look Who's 8.
All right, so we're going to start off today with Asher. He's turning 8 today. Now, Asher likes playing Roblox, basketball, and wrestling. And get this, he likes to wrestle live.
I know,
He's brave.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that.
You won't find me doing that.
I don't know where you would, like, you just go out in the woods and find a bear and wrestle. I don't know. All right, well, happy birthday, Asher. Happy 8th birthday to Jay. Jay loves to play baseball and soccer and likes to be outside exploring.
Well, if you know a special someone that's turning 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
That's right. Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab on our website. Stay with us. We have everything you need to know today in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is up next. Time for your morning news now. The woman accused of killing a 6-year-old boy in the town of Medarie appeared in court. 31-year-old Josie Dykeman is facing an intentional homicide charge along with charges relating to child neglect and abuse. A medical examiner testified during the preliminary hearing explaining that the cause of Alex Xavier Pedron's death was blunt force trauma and that the child was covered in roughly a dozen bruises.
So there were about 100 milliliters of blood just free within his abdominal cavity. There was also a lot of hemorrhage and bleeding around the head of the pancreas.
Dykeman's attorney argued that her bond should be waived because there was no direct witnesses to testify that Dykeman caused harm to Pedron. District Attorney Tim Grenke argued other children in the house were witnesses. Judge Elliot Levine determined there is enough evidence to keep Dykeman's $1 million cash bond. The preliminary hearing will be continued on June 9th. Cameron and Burns Park in the city of La Crosse are temporarily closed. For the unsheltered living in those parks, that means they have to move again. City officials started on maintenance as the last few people were leaving. La Crosse Park and Rec Director Jay Ordegard told News 8 that the parks aren't designed to be used as heavily as Burns and Cameron are. So today's closure is a way to clean the parks and take care of repairs and tree inspections safely.
The best way to do it, as you can see the equipment in the background, is to safely get everybody out of here and make sure that, you know, the guys can get to work without having to worry about hurting somebody.
At this time, many people have set up across the street from Cameron. The park is set to reopen in time for the Cameron Park Farmers Market on Friday. Today, youth agencies in La Crosse are hosting a summer kickoff party. The gathering is happening at Powell Park from 4 to 6. The youth-serving organizations coming to the party include the Boys and Girls Clubs, The Good Fight, Hope Restores, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and more than a dozen others. They'll have lawn games, flag football, arts and crafts, and food. Also today, Moon Tunes officially kicks off its 2023 lineup at 5:30 p.m. at La Crosse's Riverside Park. The first of the free concert series will feature Tom Wopat and the Midwestern All-Star Band. The Wisconsin native and Dukes of Hazzard actor says the performance today will feature a nice mix of genre. Moon Tunes will continue every Thursday night throughout the summer. And starting this morning, you can take part in the city's Downtown Walk-Around Challenge. Throughout June, participants can walk to participating downtown businesses who will stamp an official challenge card. When you get all your stamps, email a picture of your finished card to that email or drop off the physical card in the downtown Main Street mailbox by July 5th. Winners will get notified by July 7th. To get your stamp card, go to lacrossedowntown.com. We'll link it on news8000.com.
And as you head out the door this morning, temperatures warming up into the upper 60s by 7, followed by the 70s by 9, all under partly cloudy skies there, and that will continue through at least 11 o'clock with temperatures in the low 80s by that point. And then as we head into those later afternoon hours today, skies turning mostly cloudy with a slight chance of a shower. Pretty hot today as highs will climb to near 90 with that southerly wind in place at 5 to 10 miles an hour. For the day tomorrow, looking at a chance of showers and thunderstorms, highs into the upper 80s, a little bit drier, I should say, here for this weekend. Highs in the mid to upper 80s there. And as we head into early next week, Monday, a chance of scattered showers and storms yet again. Looks like it's going to be cooler Tuesday through Thursday thanks to a front.
At least right now, it's looking like it's not going to be raining Saturday and Sunday.
Right, exactly.
So people can enjoy the outdoors.
Yep.
Thank you. Hopefully it stays that way.
Right.
Thanks, Derek. And thank you for watching News 8 Now. Don't forget to keep up with the news of the day on news8000.com. We will have the latest updates to today's top stories on News 8 Now at noon. Have a great morning, everyone. Thank you for watching News 8.